Experience the I Am Melanin Magic difference by going to our website www.IamMelaninMagic.com and purchasing your products today. I am Melanin Magic, and so are you. Welcome to Tunisia's Locs, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely.
So gorgeous. Look at you.
Oh.
Thank you so much for coming on. I gotta say that I'm so grateful to you for coming on here and being willing to share. I love it.
Yes, I'm so thankful that you asked me, and it's what I needed. You know, sometimes you're supposed to do something. What you've been doing as far as educating people on their hair, that's a message that I got that I was supposed to share years ago. And you know, I'm old school. I might not look like it, but we're in the same decades.
Yeah, look, how young are you? How aged are you?
I am 48 years young.
Girl, go ahead to longevity. Looking good.
Amen. So when I listen to you, I relate so well, and I was like, man, I'm so glad that you answered the call to your assignment. And so when I watch you, I relate. And I was like, okay, I need to answer that call. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. This is exactly what people need to see. A little bit different than the TV shows, the reality shows. This is real. This is our reality. And I like that we get to share that as well. And it's not always women of color, knocking heads and calling each other the B words, and that's not what it's all about. Like, there is nothing but love here. So I appreciate being surrounded by love, and you can feel the love. You just, somebody that you've never met before, never seen them in person. And there's just like this love, this spirit of kindness, this spirit of sharing. And it's amazing. So I love this.
I love it too. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Absolutely.
So welcome, Miss DeeDee Smith, to the channel today. We are so happy to have her. She is going to talk to us about some very important things regarding hair care. She's going to be able to share some really insightful information today. So I'm really looking forward to having you here with us today, Miss DeeDee, and I'm grateful because you're coming all the way from California at 6 a.m. in the morning. DeeDee, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences related to hair?
Yes, so before I became a licensed cosmetologist, I have always been the family hairstylist. I'm the one, I did grandma's hair, I did my mother's hair, I did my friend's hair. Like, I was just that hair person. And you know how you are introduced to your gift young, but sometimes you don't pay attention to it. I thought that the only thing I could do with hair was work at a salon. And I like going to get my hair done when I was a child, but I didn't see myself being in a salon every single day. So I was like, no, there has to be more. And it wasn't something that I saw myself doing. So I went to college, got a bachelor's degree in biology, but then somehow I still ended up coming back around. And doing hair again. And so in 2011, I got introduced more to the natural side, because when I was doing hair, when I first started, it was, the press and curls, that kind of thing, relaxers, big on relaxers back in the day. And then I personally had a relaxer that burnt a hole in my scalp, probably like the size of a quarter. And it stayed wet. And it took so long to heal. The hair would like stick to it. It was just yucky. And so I remember saying to myself, I'm never getting a relaxer again. And I didn't. And that was in 95, 96, when it wasn't very popular to be natural in the 90s at all. And I was at Morgan State University. So all my friends was like, girl, you'll be back. Girl, don't nobody wear their hair natural. And I fought with it, because I was like, no, there's something wrong. Like, I'm a biology major. I just did a chemical burn to my scalp that, thank God, it heals, but what if it didn't? Right. And I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like going around doing this and can't scratch my head during a certain time. So for me, it was natural hair was introduced to me from my own personal experience during that time. And then, of course, I didn't know anything about Sisterlocks in the 90s. I don't know if there was such a thing. I hadn't seen anything. I mean, traditional locks, there was a, you know, still a negative connotation somewhat with traditional locks. So I wasn't into that. So I did the press and curl for a long time to just deal with my own hair, but I still was stuck on a straight look. And then I got to a place where I was like, you know what? My hair is not straight. I'm fighting it really hard to make it straight all the time. And so I don't even know how I got introduced to this lady, but I took her Sisterlock training, and it was actually micro interlocks. So let me just make sure I say that, because I don't want to say anything, but it was the Microlock training. And that was when it was started. And that was in 2011 in DC. And it's still, I had a few clients, but didn't have a whole lot. Now, fast forward, now I'm here in California, and it's like Sisterlock and Microlock explosion. It's like everybody got them. So that was my introduction to it. And now I'm doing a whole lot more. I do not have Sisterlocks. I've never had them. I'm the one that retightens them. I don't, or retighten Microlocks. Let me say that, because I don't want to say that, you know. So I retighten Microlocks. So I have a lot of clients that I retighten their Microlocks as well as traditional locks. So that's where I am, but I don't have them. I've never had them. I do have one traditional lock though. I have one.
Tell me about your hair, because you mentioned something before about what was it? Goldilocks?
Goldilocks. Yes, Goldilocks. So it's a play on words, like, you know, Goldilocks, the character, but then it's a play on words because it's G-O capital D L-O-C-S, and it's a play on my name. Like, my name is DeeDee. So I was like, Goldie. So Goldilocks is pretty much a combination between free flowing hair and locked hair, because I still like the styles of my free flowing hair. I wanted to create something that was allowed me to have the best of both worlds. So at the base, it has a braid or interlock, whatever, but then my ends are free. So
this is your own trademark.
Yeah, this is my own trademark thing, and that's why I thank you so much, because you're making me put it on the block now. I've been talking about it for years.
I didn't realize that when you said that yesterday, that's what it was. Talk to us more about.
Yes.
And you said it's G-O-L.
No, it's no L. There's no, it's God. So if you put it together, it says Godlocks. So G-O-D-L-O-C-S. So when I said it, I said G-O space capital D space L-O-C-S. Go D.
Oh my God.
But if you put it together, it says Godlocks. So I was like, okay, Godlocks work. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're right.
So talk to us more about the style, how you came up with it, and everything related to Goldilocks.
Okay, so for me, the style came up with the whole idea of wanting longer hair, knowing that I could have longer hair, but didn't know how to get there outside of traditional locks. Because like I said, when I grew up and decided I wanted to be natural, either you were going to be natural with an afro or you're going to be natural with traditional locks. There was really nothing
in between.
There really was nothing in between. And I grew up in New York, and in New York, you know, you had your Rastafarians and 5%. And so whoever had traditional locks, there was a connotation, you know, negative stuff that people would say. And, you know, I grew up in that. So I was like, well, I don't want that, because I don't want anybody to think that's who I am. Like, that's not what I wanted. But I wanted something that had the best of both worlds. I wanted to grow like locks, but I can still style it as if it's free flowing. And I tried so many different things, and I don't know how I got onto this. It was just, you know, God speaking to me and giving me like, okay, this is what you need to do. Kind of like when we do, I don't know if back in the day, if you ever seen it with the little, what do they call it? We called it the extension, when you get your micro braids, when people get their hair micro braided, they braid it a little bit and then leave the ends out. That kept coming to my mind. And I was like, how do we do that with regular hair? Because one of the reasons why people wanted that look is so it looked like free flowing hair, but it was really braids. And I was like, well,
but you have the, you know, the freeness and the flow.
You can curl it, you can twist it, you can put it in a ponytail. So that's where that came from. And I just, you know, trial and error, and started doing it on myself. I had a couple of clients that I tried it on that they wanted to grow their hair out, so it worked out. And then right now I am the only one currently that has it, because you know everybody that does it for a certain time. That's the one thing. I was one of those people too, and I'm sure you've heard it. You don't want to do the commitment. And I'm a hairstylist. You know, hairstylists, we change our hair all the time. Like I just shaved this off. Like I was like, you know what? I want the hair. Like so you change your hair all the time. So I was like, okay, I need something that's going to afford me that versatility that I want to have and want to change it and then be able to do something different. So this is what I came up with. And I can say, before we jump into what happened with my hair loss, before my hair fell out, this is the longest my hair has ever been in my life.
I love it. I mean, that is such the best of both worlds. It's a wonderful harmony there. I absolutely love it. So you install this style on your clients as well, DeeDee?
If they want it, yeah. It's just like any other type of style. You have to it looks great, but there's work added to it. Like it's not a whole lot of work added to it, but there is work, there is effort. So I let my clients know, like, look, don't let me put it in here and then you just let it go and don't do anything. Because just like traditional locks, Microlocks, Sisterlocks, it can mat together and cause you a problem.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you, the maintenance that's involved. It still requires that you be vigilant and actively monitoring what's going on with your hair.
Exactly. Because, you know, because of it being, you know, interlocked at the base, what have you, if you don't retighten it and take care of it, it can, you know, mat up and lock up, and that's not what we want. This gives me the option. Like my parts, sometimes I have bigger parts, sometimes I'll change it to smaller parts. So I have to be able to take them out and put them back in a way that I want to have it without it matting up and having a problem. Sometimes, you know, if you don't do that, and I know, again, by trial and error, sometimes I was lazy with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I will never leave it in that long. I will never do that again.
Yes.
So I learned from trial and error.
I am really impressed with that. I don't know what I thought you were talking about when we were going back and forth. I guess I assumed it was another style of locking that I wasn't aware of, you know, like traditional locks or something like that. But I definitely want to have you back whenever you're ready.
Absolutely.
In depth, gold locks. I want you to talk.
Yeah. Maybe we can get somebody. I'll have a client here and, you know, do a demonstration of actually what I'm doing on their hair.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. Definitely want to do that. That's a wonderful thing. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Thank you.
DeeDee, when you're retightening clients' hair that have Sisterlocks or Microlocks or tiny locks, what do you find to be one of the greatest challenges?
Them not getting it done often enough and for their hair type. So I know there's a rule that, you're supposed to go every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or whatever the case may be. Everybody's hair grows in different times, phases, and stages. So whatever your time frame is, you need to know your time frame and stick to that, because no one knows your hair better than you. And that's one thing that I love to hear you say, like, don't give up your autonomy just because you're going to get your hair done by somebody else, because that person that's doing their hair, I might be doing hair for over 20, 30 years. Doesn't matter. I've not been doing your hair for 20, 30 years. So you got to tell me what's going on with your hair. There's no different than when we go to the doctor. We think the doctors know everything. Well, what do they sit there and do? They ask you a bunch of questions about you because they don't know you. You know you. So for me, that retightening not at the right time for their hair is one of the main things, because when you don't get it retightened, then you have the meshing together and it starts, it starts locking at the base. And when that hair is tiny like that, you end up losing, hair that you shouldn't have to lose because it didn't get retightened at the right time. And then the other thing is two things. The other thing is, and unfortunately I see it after people have been to different stylists, is that they've gotten it retightened too often, too tight. So now it's starting to thin and spread apart, and now you don't even have, now you don't even have that much hair to retighten, especially the crown.
Again, can you drive that point home? Because that's something I'm really big on. I don't think enough locticians talk about that. And when there's
something about seeing the scalp, and I don't understand. I've never been that person. I tell people, look, give me Lauryn Hill and Bob Marley hair. Like, I don't come searching for my scalp. I want you to like, I
don't like the plump chicken look. When I get my like that, I used to just like right when it's time to go get a retie is when I'm feeling good about my hair and I'm loving it.
Yes. Yes. So I'm not understanding. I understand. I see why people want to see the scalp part, but I'm like you, when it grows out more, to me, it looks fuller. It looks more vibrant. I like that better. So those are the two things. They're not getting it done enough, or that when they do get it done, they get it done too much and too tight. Just because it can go through one more time does not mean it has to go through. So yes, I understand the patterns and follow this pattern, but I'm not following the pattern completely if that means that last time that I go through to complete a pattern means I'm going to break and tighten your hair too tight. I'm not doing it. And I tell my clients that all the time. You know, I'm not going to make this too tight.
And I love that. And tell me this, have you gotten pushback from your clients because they want it actually tight like that? Some of them actually
I haven't personally, but I have heard of people saying that. But I have I come from a salon here in California is where I really started, especially when the shutdown happened in 2020. I connected with Miss B at B Natural Hair Care here in Los Angeles. Turns out she was family. Who knew? And she was like yourself, like very educational. Like, so I learned a whole lot just working beside her. And that was one thing, like, look, if you want to keep your hair, because as locks grow, weight is heavy. Like, even if you buy extension hair, you got to pay for the weight of it. So heavier hair, longer hair is heavier. So if you keep putting that weight on your hair, after a while, it's not going to be able to hold it. So if you keep tightening it too tight, what is it going to have to hold on to?
Yes,
you need strength once it gets longer. It can't keep getting tighter and tighter. So I've never had much pushback because she set her salon up as a place of education. So that's usually where people came after they had problems. And now we're there to help remedy it.
I love that. I love that so much, because you're right. It's not just the environmental elements that take a toll on the hair, whether it's the pollution and the water or the styling and the weight. It's the length of time you've had them. It's the rotations. It's the tightness. It's all of those things that we have to start to mitigate and recognize. If you're putting that much stress on your hair and it's coming from all those different directions, ultimately you're going to have some problems. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Tell me this, if you had one wish or one main advice that you would give to women who wear these kinds of styles, Sisterlocks, Microlocks, and Tiny Locks, what would that advice be, DeeDee?
Is it only one wish?
No, you.
Okay, so one of the things, and I've heard you share this on your channel many times, it's an investment. Invest in yourself, please, because first of all, you are walking advertisement for yourself. This is your hair, it's attached to your head. It's an investment. Stop going cheap. You want your hair to last. This is your glory. This is your crown. Why would you be cheap? Like I can't even find a better word, because you want to spend money on everything else, but you don't want to take care of that. But you want the loctician or whoever it is to stand on their feet 6, 7, 8 hours, however long it is, for a couple of $100. And it's not right. Like, you really need to know it's an investment. If you're not looking forward to first the initial investment for installs, which I do not do because it takes too long, and then the maintenance throughout the time, then learn how to do it yourself. But please pay people for their time. I'm that person that's like, you cannot want the best and not recognize that it costs what it costs. The best cost. And you have to be willing to do it. And
it's interesting.
And then, and then the other thing is to be patient. Whatever your process is, I see a lot of comparison in the lock community. I had a client call. She was like, DeeDee, do I have Sisterlocks? I said, well, did a Sisterlock consultant put them in for you? And she said, yeah. I said, well, then you have Sisterlocks. Well, somebody told me that these are not Sisterlocks because my hair looks like this and theirs looks like that. And I'm like, but your hair texture is completely different. Like, our locks are like our fingerprints. No one's is the same. No one.
That's right.
So I would say, when you get them, invest, and when you get them, don't compare. Be patient with yourself and have the patience to go through it, and be happy with the locks that you have, because no one else has them. They're originally created just for you. Those are your personal locks. Nobody, I can do 5 people in a day and nobody's locks will look the same.
Right. I think that is so critical. to your last point, if we continue to compare, then we don't make space for the fact that our hair has its own requirement and its own individual needs. And we take and we make these so-called trademark ideas or whatever it is we're being told, we apply it to our hair when our hair may actually need something else. And to your first point about investing, I think it is time that we begin to reshape how we look at this whole investment, because if we take on the mantras that you're talking about, and what we end up saying is that, you know what, this is my crown, this is my glory. I'm paying for something because I want the best and it's worth it. And this is why I say I don't care what Sisterlocks costs, you can afford it. Because it depends upon how you look at the style and what you're willing to invest. When you look at the outcomes and the results, if you're taking care of your hair and you're doing what you need to do, to me, there's nothing that could be more worth it. It's just a matter of planning for those costs and putting them in your budget. The same way I said we talk about cable. People are still spending $200–300 a month for cable, and what are they getting out of it? You know, there's so many other things that we spend way too much on. So those are some things we really need to be able to take a closer look at. I do. I'm going to be one of those people that begins to really reshape that, because I think it is important. I do, especially when you find, say, someone like yourself who is passionately invested in hair health and oftentimes has to clean up the mess that other locticians have made. But what you want is for people to experience the abundance of hair. And so you're really invested, and so you're prime, you know, you're premium, in other words. So that's something that is in and of itself, it elevates your value over that other person who's just there to make the money and care less, because you're putting your heart and soul into whatever it is you're doing. So I love that. I really love that.
And the other thing I do want to add is and you've said it before, have more than one loctician that you know and trust for your hair, because you know, I'm only one person and I do have a life, and locticians have a life. Like, they want to go on vacation, they have babies, they get married, they have families to take care of, all of those things. So I appreciate that everybody that comes to me only wants me to touch their hair, and that's very important. You want to make sure not everybody is supposed to touch your hair. Don't have everybody hand in your hair. You want to have caring hands in your hair, and I know I have very caring hands. So, but there's somebody else that has caring hands that, you know, I need a backup. So just in case, I don't want, because what happens is, and that's why a lot of times they go so long, is if they can't get the caring hands that they like and love, they'll go longer until they can get them again. And it's like, no, have another set. Just make sure you always got somebody else that you have. You can have your main one, and usually your main one is mostly available all the time, but that time that they're not, just have somebody that you know that you can care, that cares for it the same way. And it's like, okay, I like that you do my hair when my main person is not available.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I got to have that backup, and I take time at regular intervals to cultivate that relationship. So it's always there, since I'm usually with my main loctician. I still want to, you know, keep my hand and pulse on what's going on with the backup, because you never know. So that's an excellent point. Tell me this, DeeDee, what are there any particular products that you recommend for the locks or the style?
Look, people want to think you paid me for this. Like, shameless plug. They don't look. This is for the people that don't know this is your product, because trust me, I am a stylist and I've tried many a product, and let me tell you, I Am Melanin Magic, the oil, and the hair growth serum. When I say that this right here, my clients like, DeeDee, my hair is so much softer and it doesn't itch anymore. I don't have those flakes like I used to. Like, any complaint they had, no more. Hair is growing back. It smells amazing. The hair is soft. The scalp issues are resolved. I don't know what you're doing and how you did it, but I'm glad you did. And everybody that I refer it to, because I'm working a lot of times, I'm in that community that's not the high end community that, you know, they're always looking for a way to pay a little less for things. And I tell them, look, again, this is an investment. This is the best investment. I've tried so many different oils, everything on the market that I've tried, and the popular stuff, the not so popular stuff, the stuff that's in the kitchen cabinet, all of that. These work. And I mean, you can look at your invoices and see I keep I keep ordering them because I love it. And you know, that's I can't say enough about it. I really, like, anybody asks me, I'm like, oh, go to our memo. I have people sit in my chair and order it while I'm doing it. They take my word like that, like, oh, DeeDee, what do I need? Or what's that you just using? Okay, I'm gonna get it. And they'll order it while they're sitting in the chair.
DeeDee, I know that you, because we've text or you have repeat orders, so I know or I assume that you like the product, but I had no idea you had that much to say about it. And I'm so appreciative because, and it means so much more because you see a lot of heads. This is what you do for a living. You're familiar with a lot of products. So that's really,
and I also use it on my free, because I do production hair. So I'm on set and I use it for my free flowing clients as well. So it's
interesting you say that because my daughter has free flowing hair. She has fine, I don't know, maybe 3. It's in the 3 family, but she uses it and it helped to thicken her hair after dyeing it blonde. So I know that it does work on that different types of hair as well, but I appreciate that. And it's so good for me to know and hear that feedback that comes in because I really do strive and I do pray over my product. So I don't know if that helps.
Yes, prayer always helps. You can't go wrong with prayer. You cannot go wrong.
So that's something else. Let me ask you this. You were talking about henna, or you had mentioned something about henna before. Can you talk to me a little bit about your experience with the henna more recently? I think you did henna and indigo. And
yeah, so I did a henna and indigo. I just put it in my hair. So the story was, my friend was like telling me about how she's doing it. And she's on her hair growth journey. And we're in different places. We're in different stages. She was just starting hers. And because of my Goldilocks, my hair, like I said, had gotten longer and fuller and better than I ever had before. And then even when I started using your oil with it, it just really took off. And especially in my middle section has always been that thinner section that just couldn't seem to do anything. So we were just talking and I was like, well, I have some henna here. I got some indigo. I'm gonna try it. And I put the henna in and she was like, oh, well, you got to sleep in it. I was like, well, I ain't sleeping in it because I can't do that. I don't like sleeping in and stuff. So I just put it in, put the cap on, put the heating cap on, 30 minutes. That's it. Washed it out. And then did the indigo the same way, put the indigo in, cap on, 30 minutes. And then in the rinse and out process, after I finished the indigo, I just globs of hair. I did it in the shower. So I'm doing it and I was like, what is this? And I turned around and I see like a glob of my hair in my hand and it just kept coming out. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And it didn't really hit me until I blow dried it. So like, like I said, my ends are out. So I'm able to blow dry it and I saw it. And I'm not sure if I sent you the picture, but there's this before and after of when I had it and when I didn't have it. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at my hair. So my friend told me, oh, that's because you didn't leave it in. You put the heating cap on and something. I was like, I don't know, but something was not right. Like this is supposed to
with heat, DeeDee.
You can process it with heat. I mean,
you did it.
I did it. I mean, I have done it before. I don't think I've ever done it before with the indigo. So I don't know if it was the henna indigo mix or maybe it's that particular henna. I have no idea, but I know I hadn't done it in a long time. And the last time I did it, nothing like that happened. So after that happened, I really don't know. I really think it had to be the combination of the two because it wasn't enough time or heat to have done much of anything.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had Miss Priscilla on here a few weeks ago and she's been very successful with using henna on her locks for over 10 years. And so we were talking about sometimes the quality of the henna can make a huge difference. And there's a lot of synthetic stuff that's being mixed with natural blends out here on the market and it's taking a toll on people's hair. But Miss Priscilla also processes hers overnight. And she obviously really trusts the brand and has gotten some great results from a HENNA, and there's another brand that she recommended. But I can think about what you're telling me, and had you kept that in all night, it could have been a disaster. That's why now she recommended a brand that I am going to try at some point, the Henna Guys, but I'm going to test a section of my hair because I too had a horror story with henna many years ago. And that's how I ended up with locks. I went from shoulder length hair to hair like this. And the way it was coming out, like what you were saying, I was mortified. But then too, I had put color in my hair. No, I had henna in my hair, and then I've been doing okay, and then I turned around and put some color in, and the two together really created an issue. But so you use the henna and you use the indigo. And had you used indigo in the past?
I had used it one other time, but I don't think I used it correctly that one other time. I didn't use it in conjunction with the henna like it had said that you should. So there was really like no effect of it that one other time that I did use it.
Has it stopped falling at this point?
Oh yes, it has definitely stopped falling out. We back in the growth stage. It's making a full comeback. But that hurt and that devastation of, because I don't know for you. For me as a child, I always wanted my own long hair. I see the weaves, I see the braids, I see the wigs. Like my grandmother, that was one of the things I did as a child was play with her wigs. And she used to have the shorter ones. I would turn them around so the longer part would be in the back, just so the hair would be longer. So this has been a thing for me. Like this is not just something new now. Like and so I wanted longer hair. So for me, it was I got to get to a place where it can get back and get long. So once it's got there and then it fell out like that in clumps, I just was like, oh, it felt like, man, all this that I've done to do it right. And when I spoke to you, I said, I know better as a stylist, and I know better for my hair what works for my hair. I didn't need the henna. I was doing good without it.
Tell me what made you put the henna in. What were you hoping for?
Having that conversation with my friend, because she was talking about how it gives her hair so much strength, and it was strengthening her hair and what have you. But her hair was in a different place than mine. I didn't need that strength for my hair because my hair was in a good place. My hair was strong.
Okay, so like, you weren't even using more strength. You weren't even using it.
I wasn't even using my grays that I got in here. I can't wait for them all. I want them all. I want it full. Like I ain't trying to come up this. No. I'm like, come on, platinum, come. And now that I did it, it got like this red in here. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see the white.
So DeeDee, you use the same.
I'm doing it strictly for strength, not even for color.
That's amazing. And then so you suffered for that. Did you suffer
for that?
Same brand that your friend used, DeeDee?
I don't think so. No.
It's a different brand.
You mind
telling us what brand it was?
It was Newport. It was Newport. Newport. Yeah, NU is because I know you get it from the Indian store. It's in a green package. I know it when I see it, but it's new pure. That's what it NUPUR, new pure.
And you mix that and the indigo at the same time and put them both in, or you put the henna?
No, one at a time. I did the henna first, and then I did the indigo.
Okay. Wow. That's a heck of a story. That I know when mine started coming out, honey, I was doing like this and I just kept getting strands and strands. And I was so upset and just beside myself. About a few weeks later, it continued to come out and I could see where it was leaving holes because it was coming out at the root. And I just said, let me just, and you know how they say a coward dies of 1,000 deaths. I said, let me cut it off because I can't take the just seeing it.
Just saying it.
What you went through, you're fortunate it didn't.
Yeah, I think that's part of the Goldilocks. I think if I didn't have the Goldilocks in, like that was what held it. Like all of it's not gonna come out. I'm gonna hold on to some of it. But I think if I didn't have the Goldilocks in, all of it would have came out.
That's a heck of a story, and we gotta have you back. And I know that you have things that you have to do. I want to thank you for being on here today. And
I thank you for having me.
DeeDee, how can people contact you if they want to talk with you more? Is there a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I have an Instagram account. Please don't judge the limited amount of pictures. If you watch the video from the beginning, I'm old school. I'm new to this. This is nothing but Tanisha bringing this out of me because I'm like, okay, well, if she's doing it, I gotta get on it. It's time. It is time. So it's Goldilocks, GODLOCS with the number 1. That's my Instagram. So Goldilocks, GODLOCS number 1. So Goldilocks 1 is my Instagram, so they can definitely reach me there. And I'm so excited. Like, this is awesome. And so thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all the information that you share. Let me say that, because the information that you share is priceless. Like, if people, and everybody, that I have a client right now that's she's my friend, and she's really interested in getting the Sisterlocks or Microlocks. She wants to know the difference, whatever. And you had a video, and I was like, oh, I got somebody for you. I was like, watch this video, girl, so you'll know the differences. And when I spoke to her, she's like, girl, I've been binge watching them. So I thank you so much for that education, because people need to know. And a lot of times we mess up because we don't know, you know.
Right.
That's where we suffer, when there's no knowledge there, to what you just don't know. And then the wisdom comes by applying said knowledge. But if you don't have the knowledge, how can you apply it? So then you're walking with no knowledge or wisdom. So I thank you for sharing, because you're allowing people to get the knowledge and then to make a wise choice for themselves, and allow them. And when you say that, I love it. Allow them not to give up their autonomy just because of a hairstyle that they want to get. They have to know what's going on with their hair. So I thank you for all that you share on your platform. And thank you so much for having me up here. This is awesome. I'm like, this is going to be great. So I love it.
I'm so humbled, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for what you're doing out here for us. And I just want to thank you. And I'm looking really forward to you coming back. Okay. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Blessings.
Hey ladies, do you love the way your skin looks and feels? I know I do, because I am using the I Am Melanin Magic Anti-Aging Serum. And at 50, I love the way my skin looks and feels. This blend is bomb. It renews, revitalizes, rejuvenates, soothes, conditions, moisturizes, tones, brightens, and fades, all in one step. So if you're ready to get your glow on, go get you some I Am Melanin Magic Anti-Aging Serum.
If you struggle with acne during your youth or even as an adult, it's time to give I Am Melanin Magic Acne Serum a try. Unlike other harsh products that dry out your skin, our oils balance and purify, helping to heal inflammation. All natural and formulated to meet the requirements of melanated skin. You'll see results in no time. Don't delay. Order yours today.
Do you have dark spots from skin irritation? How about unsightly marks from acne that's lasted way too long? Fade Magic can help you find your way back to radiance over time. Don't delay, order yours today.
If you are not using Melanin Magic hair oil, then what are you using?
Hi, I'm the creator of the I Am Melanin Magic Skin and Hair Care brand. The I Am Melanin Magic Hair Oil is our premier product. It is the leading high-end supplement for your mane.
It reduces breakage and promotes growth and can be used on all hair types and looks, from straightened hair and microlocks to wigs and protective styles.
It's antifungal, antibacterial, and it's anti-funk, so you know you're protected.
It softens and conditions your hair, and it's anti-frizz too.
Hey guys, so I started using this oil called I Am Melanin Magic since February of this year, and check out the new growth. Like, it's insane. Not only did it help with my new growth, but it smells amazing too.
See the dramatic improvements Denisha has made after not having hair around her edges for 3 years.
Tanya's hair had been like this for almost 20 years, and while getting injections. Her doctor said it was scarred and would never grow back. After 4 weeks of using I Am Melanin Magic, this is what she looked like. I Am Melanin Magic did this to Danette's hair after a short time. This is really all your hair needs. It's rich with antioxidants, loaded with growth-promoting ingredients. Look at the growth of my hair. It's amazing. The product speaks for itself. Order yours today and don't delay. Don't delay, purchase yours today.
I Am Melanin Magic,
And so are you.